Hello and welcome to From the Couch Sports Talk Radio. It's a football roundtable, and sorry for our absence last week, but we had some family stuff going on. I am Sean Price, your host, and I'm joined by the less masculine Jada Pickett Smith and All-Pro Hall of Famer Ed Reed. How you doing, guys?
Hey.
Don't put my wife's name in your mouth.
Hey, that would be an interesting panel, Sean. I'm listening to me. That would be super interesting. Hey, Jada Pickett and Ed Reed on the panel. That would be hilarious.
You got to start somewhere, man. All right, so David and KD, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What about you, KD?
I'm good. I'm good now. As I kind of got my vent off about my experience up in Boulder. So hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I've been good, man. I was looking forward to our game last week, so hopefully we can get it in this week about name that player. So.
All right. Well, we're going to do that, but we're also going to talk some NFL news for the last couple of weeks. But let's quick just hey, KD, what did you think about the NBA Finals?
I like them, the matchups. I did not like the coaching execution. You had to on one side you relied too much on your superstars and not enough on your role guys to kind of keep you afloat, and to the point to where you're forcing your guys that can push you over in a game, in a series. You're forcing them to say, hey, look, all right, I want you to win the game. But combined, these guys got to score 80 a night, and I just think that's too much to ask of your two-star players. Unless you're running with, a young prime Michael Jordan, a young prime LeBron James, or young prime Kobe, and young prime Mike, and they're going to shoot 70 shots a night. I don't see how that's going to happen, and it is definitely not the recipe to win a 7-game series. And then on the other side with Boston, I think they played their cards right. When it comes down to, hey, look, I don't have to have Jason Tatum go for 50, but I do want him to get rebounds. I do want him to assist the ball, and if that's assisting to Pritchard, if that's assisting to Derek White or Al Horford, or even Jaylen Brown, if that's assisting to those guys, I'm cool with it. And I think Missoula did a great job basically saying, hey, look, not to panic when Dallas make their run. Just say, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and make our run as well. The difference was the collective effort. You can see the collective effort through Boston, unlike on Dallas when it comes down to P.J. Washington and all the other guys. It was kind of like, hey, this guy was good this one game. This guy he disappears the next game, and then some guy come out of the woodwork. He'll get you 8 points. And there was no big presence for Dallas. It was more alley hoops or lobs. And if they wasn't getting that, it was just obsolete. It was just Luka and Kyrie going one-on-one mostly for the night, which is fine. It's cool. That's a good option. But at some point, you got to get back to your fundamental type of sets.
All right. David, did you watch any of the NBA Finals?
Unfortunately, I didn't. But, I will say one thing. I watched a couple of the interviews with the Boston Celtics head coach. I forget his name, but that man is so humble and down to earth, and it's like a breath of fresh air in a room full of egos. You know what I mean? Like when he just sits there and he's talking, and he's just a mellow, humble guy. And it is. It's nice. I'm not really into the NBA.
Well, that helps when he's younger than all of us. on the show.
Exactly. I mean, but
Like
I will tell you,
I think Joe Mazzulla is 35, I think.
well, whatever he did with that team, that they played as a complete team. I mean, there was who was it? Was it Jaylen Brown who won the MVP?
Yeah, he won it. I mean, you had a case for each guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a fact Jrue Holiday was not going to get enough on the stat sheet to be the Finals MVP, but he was just as key on his defensive sets playing on Luka, just harassing him, being a little pain in the ass every time going up and down the court. Even to the point to where, hey, look, I got my offensive package going as well, where hey, he was driving to the hole and then little flicks at the goal. He wasn't making all of them, but he was making enough of them to make Dallas a little desperate. So I didn't have an issue with either one of those guys winning it.
No, absolutely. But I just think he had that team from top to bottom. I mean, when they needed some spark off the bench, or when they needed that guy to give the other guy a 5-minute rest or whatever, that team just played as a complete team pretty much throughout that entire series. So no, it was Boston definitely deserved to win that series just based on their play from top to bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, now we just have to listen to friggin' Boston fans for forever.
I mean, you're gonna have to hear them either way it go, just because
No, I do have to ask a question though, because Eric, our partner in crime, is not here. Did he say that Jaylen Brown was the key to that series? Is that what he was saying, or was he saying Jason Tatum?
No. He said Jaylen Brown is the best player on their team. And then my whole thing, like, look, okay, if you want to sit here and say that because hey, this person scores more or whatever it may be, Jason Tatum still averaged more points and assists and rebounds than the guy. I mean, it is what it is. It's a hey, Sean, how you doing? You're an MVP voter. Hey, who you gonna vote for? Well, all right, I'm gonna vote for this kid.
Right. Well, like I said, I just think the whole team itself, just as a team, the whole team played consistent throughout that series.
Yeah, because I can tell you right now, if Kristaps Porzingis doesn't get hurt, Kristaps Porzingis is probably gonna be the doggone MVP. Mm-hmm. If he's going to come in and play 18 minutes and get you 14 points in 18 minutes.
Exactly.
All right, so let's move on quick to the NHL. My niece probably knows more about this than I do. She's an avid hockey fan. But Florida now leads 3-2. They were up over the Oilers 3-0. Oilers came back in the last two. Is this going to get to a Game 7? David, any thoughts?
No, I said that Florida would win in 6, and I still hold true to that. Again, I think they go back. I think they are back in Florida now. Yeah, so they're in Florida. They're in front of their home crowd. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Western Conference, when you watch Western Conference versus Eastern Conference in the NHL, it is such a stark contrast in styles of play. The Eastern Conference is more of a grinded out, body game, where in the West, especially like teams like the Oilers, the Vancouver Canucks, the Winnipeg Jets, they are up and down the ice. Colorado, up and down, fast, speed. So, I think when you get into the confines of your home building and you know the boards, you know the way the puck bounces, you know certain things and where you want to be to take the right angles on players and so on and so forth. In these kind of series, I believe that these lend themselves to the home team coming out on top. So I still believe the Florida wins in 6.
Not so fast, my friend.
Here we go.
No, sir. Look here. Edmonton has all the momentum right now. And this game is going to be in Edmonton.
Okay. Sorry.
But either way, I still think the momentum itself, because right now, what we don't take in consideration is, I'm in front of my home crowd, but the pressure is on me to close it out. Even if I was in Florida, the pressure is on me to get it done right now, because, all that momentum fades if I leave out of this building and we're not hosting a trophy tonight. So again, if it was in Florida, I think they would have a lot more pressure on them than what they have right now. Because again, I think the thing that helped Edmonton is the blowout. The blowout game, that was kind of like, shucks. These guys are super fast. They're super physical. They get a lot of shots on goal and whatnot. But guess what? None of that means nothing because we just blew their ass out. So now psychologically, I just think if I'm the Edmonton coaching staff, I'm saying, hey, look, let's keep riding, let's keep doing what we're doing, and we're gonna see where we end up. Especially now because again, there's no pressure on them at all. The pressure doesn't get on Florida until they go back. If they go back, they make it back to Florida and they haven't hosted the trophy. Now they look, it's now or never. And I just think that doesn't bode well for them because they're a younger team. So
no, and again, in the case of the Edmonton Oilers, you're talking from the forward perspective, you're talking probably 3 of the top 10 scorers in the NHL with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Plus, they have a great defensive scorer over there.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Florida have 2 guys with over 100 points?
Yeah, they had I think Sam Reinhart, and
I just pulled.
It might be close to 100. It might be Connor Verhaeghe or but I mean, yeah, they are skilled offensively. Like I said, I just think when you look at the conferences and the way they have to play during the season, the majority of their games are more physical, grinded out, wear down your team, while the West Coast is just get up and go. And so it's just a total contrast in 2 different styles of hockey. But I love playoff hockey. It's the best. It's the best time in sport. I mean, just watching teams like even Edmonton, but as fast as they are, it's like all of a sudden they decide to put on boxing gloves or they decide to. Right. It's just the way they are. And before we get off of hockey, Sean, I would like to say one thing. There was a major trade today in the NHL. The Calgary Flames traded their goalie, Jacob Markstrom, to the New Jersey Devils for a first-round draft pick and defenseman Mark Dahl. And my only issue with those kind of trades are, first-round draft picks in hockey, you're drafted at 16 or 18, and by the time you're playing, they're like 2 or 3 year developmental projects out. So, the Devils needed a goalie, and Calgary was probably trying to shop Markstrom since the beginning of last season and finally just found the best offer they could get for him. So that's a major shakeup and a major deal for New Jersey going forward.
Yeah. My only thing with those, again, like those type of trades is like getting rid of what you have right now, and if you don't have any depth behind it, because again, it's just like you said, that developmental stage is very long in hockey. So again, it's because again we're talking. Hey, look, not about just the physical part of it. We're talking about the mental part of it. So now we're saying, hey, look, if you stunt that particular player's growth in month 2, who knows? That may reset him to where he has to take a whole nother year to get ready.
Sure, and I say this because look at the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, the Buffalo Sabres have for the last 6 years had the number 1 prospect pool in the NHL, and none of that prospect pool has translated to success in the NHL. And so those are longevity, and it could be coaching, it could be just the whole the whole organizational makeup of the team. But you can have all these great prospects, but they don't necessarily translate to NHL greatness.
Yeah, because you're not going to get, to see it, the kids, the Alex Ovechkins right off the rip. You're not going to get them every year in a draft. We know that. It's just not going to happen. Because for one, even here in the States, how often are we exposed to hockey? Unless we already live in a region where hockey's there, or we live in a town where hockey's known. Most kids don't play hockey until they get to probably high school. And shoot, you look at different countries at the words now, it's like, hey, okay, I got 4 or 5 years on you. So now we're saying, hey, look, I got 4 or 5 years on you versus a kid that got 4 years. Even if he starts before high school, he probably starts in middle school or something like that. but you got the little tykes that plays over in other countries. I don't know.
When you say we,
Oh Jesus, Rasputin, go ahead.
All right, so we'll just do this right quick. If your team if your school in high school had a hockey team, raise your hand. Right, that's 50%. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I would like to make an announcement for anybody who is watching us on Facebook. I was unable to share it other than myself sharing and Sean. So if you are watching and you want to comment, click on the YouTube link, like, subscribe, share, and come in and comment on YouTube, please. Because if you are commenting, I won't be able to see the comments because I did not get it to share to Facebook.
Yeah, you did. I shared it off Facebook.
Well, I'm just letting anybody know who's watching in case, because when I brought it up, it only shared the YouTube.
No, it works, Dave. I mean,
okay, well, I'm just letting anybody know. But like, subscribe, and share anyway on our YouTube page. So
I don't know what I see. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you don't know what he did.
I don't know what I did. Whatever, bro. No, it's good. Good announcement. That was a great announcement.
Thank you.
Rasputin, what were you going to say? Or
no.
Katie's ethnicity.
Oh, I was teasing KD because he said we, and I was like, when you say we, I'm just wondering if that's like a pigmentation we, or if that's like we as in America. I mean,
I was talking in America light, bro. You just really made about race.
I know.
We got 3 people in hockey in NHL, bro.
You do. Numbers are growing drastically.
I got to warn you about messing with KD because I was messing with him the other day, and some guy on his Facebook page came in and blasted me.
Oh yeah.
I had to calm him down, but I was like, "Yo, Dan, relax, man. Relax. I'm just messing with them. That's what I do." So anyway,
it's all right.
So how you been, Jeffrey? We haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
I've been good. I like the Wolverine style thing you got going on there with your face. I mean, from what I see, it's
the Wolverine style.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I'm not.
Did you miss Sean's introduction?
I did. Yeah.
He introduced me he introduced KD as Ed Reed, me as Jada Pinkett Smith, and
the less masculine Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, so sorry.
That's the most important part.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, wait. You said
John Stewart.
The less masculine, right?
Correct.
Okay. Good.
So I got you. I got you covered, man.
That's
why you guys put your trust in me.
Yeah. No, I love it. No, but up north, hockey starts early, man. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, and oh, by the way, the border's there. I mean, people upstate New York go and play in Canada. They come back. I mean, there's a lot of hockey. But you're right. I mean, when you talk about America as a whole, when you look at how our country is created or made up, right? Northeastern and even central, like Michigan and Minneapolis, Minnesota, those places, they play hockey. It's cold and they have access. I mean, even Florida, there's ice skating rinks, and you got some players that play, but still, when you look at the overall numbers, you're not wrong. I mean, at all. I mean, we're getting a pool of people from a select 14 or 15 states out of the 50. Don't get me wrong. There's some Florida athletes that actually make it into these places, and I mean, it's amazing. But they're onesies and twosies as opposed to the football, basketball, hockey, football, basketball, baseball. It's
and again, with hockey, you get more of an international flavor because you're also talking Finland, Sweden, Russia, those places. So hockey is much, much, much more of a national
world.
Yeah, the other thing too, though, is like they got club hockey. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Walmart doesn't have a hockey team. Like shit, the mechanic shop have a hockey team in Europe. I'm being honest. You just like what? Hold on, you play professionally? Yes, I do. For what place? Ray's Automotive Shop. Oh, yeah. What the fuck? Okay.
Chico's bail bonds.
right.
No, 100% correct. I mean, you're right. There's no denying it. I mean, hockey is excessively expensive. I mean, it's when you look at sports in general, for parents to get them kids into certain sports, there's money associated with that sport, right? I mean, all of them cost money, but there's definitely less equipment to purchase in basketball. Even baseball, you don't have to spend a lot of money to play baseball, really. I mean, besides a glove, cleats, and a batting glove, maybe a bat. I use the ones on my team because my mother wouldn't buy me one. The fees to play are expensive. Same with football. I mean, football, you could go balls to the wall and buy some expensive gear, but you could also get that issued to you by the school or whatever. But to play in those in football, it's expensive because of insurance purposes and things of that nature. So typically the fees are high. It's just interesting how it all works out. But everything, I mean, I wasn't arguing what you said. I just thought it was funny because you used the word "we," and I wanted to pick on it because I'm racially charged today.
All right. So we're going to get off this topic before we get canceled. That's my job.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Oh,
Yep.
Jesus. Here we go. That's messed up, Katie. See how he did that?
Everybody.
Why'd you say anything, Dave? I was going to blackmail him.
Yeah. Hey, when you go back and watch the replay of this, Katie, watch how David said "Happy Juneteenth." He put his hand up, sort of like this at an angle. I'm not sure that's an acceptable hand gesture for any sport or any day, any holiday, unless you like have a smaller mustache and your name starts with A.
Hey, this is the only hand gesture you're allowed to do.
All right, there you go. Happy.
Oh, man, that's fun. Hey, all right. Well, let's move on, Sean. I'll help you do the job.
So let's go on. Some of the NFL news in the last couple of weeks. Atlanta tampering.
I tamper all day long.
You know, I posted this thing on our Facebook page, and I had postulated that maybe they drafted Penix at 8 because they knew they were not going to get another pick because they tampered. And no one commented. You all suck. But anyway, could there be any truth to that, or what do you all just think about the tampering?
So I'm going to give props because David said during the draft when they picked Penix in the first round, he said at that time, he said Atlanta made this pick because there's going to be a fallout from the tampering thing. He said it during the draft. The thing that I find, I mean, so he wasn't wrong. Foresight was there, but it was a 5th round choice they lost. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think they might have thought they're going to have to give up more. So they decided to go for the 1st round pick. I mean, look, I like Penix. I think Penix was a great pick. I think Atlanta screwed up the draft by doing that, but neither here nor there. Penix isn't going to see the field for until either Cousins gets injured again or he leaves in 2 years. Because the bottom line is, I mean, Cousins is still an elite quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. He is elite statistically, right? I mean, his wins and losses and all the playoff stuff is playoff stuff, but that's team chemistry, coaching, it all plays a role into it. And it's not like he just craps the bed, the team himself does. Anyway, all that being said, yeah, I think, Sean, to your point, they made the selection based on knowing they were going to get hand slapped for tampering like David had said they would. I just think they thought it was going to be a worse punishment.
I'm sorry that to me, based on the fact that they tampered with not only Kirk Cousins, but Darnell Mooney, and I think there was another player that were talked to, and they got fined $250,000 and a 5th round draft pick. Based on that alone, if I'm every NFL team, and I'm sure that tampering goes on anyway, but it was so flagrant that, I mean, the fact that Kirk Cousins basically came out and said that, yeah, I talked to the trainer and he was going to have me in on this day and do all this, which you weren't supposed to do until after the tampering period started. The fact that happened, if I'm every team, I don't care anymore, because what more are you going to do to me? Take away a 5th round draft pick? Because you've just set the precedent of what you are going to get if you tamper with 3 players on another team. Because they can't turn around and do that to Atlanta and then come down harder on another team, because then they're going to open themselves to internal whatever. I think that was crazy.
KD, any thoughts?
2 things. I think the player is going to matter, though. That's the other thing too. Because like with Kirk Cousins, was he on a contract? So I think.
He wasn't.
Yeah. So yeah,
I mean,
his contract expired, right? But the expiration isn't until the end of the football year, which means that you still can't talk. Even if he's a free agent, he's still a member of the Falcons until that tampering period begins, right? So that's kind of how he did it.
Yeah. And then the next thing is you could have avoided all this by just hiring Bill Belichick, and you would have never got any of these fucking tampering things. So
I got to, Katie, every time you bring that up, it just makes me smile because it forces me to think who the head coach is, and I'm baffled that the Falcons hired Raheem Morris. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we're sitting here in June still speculating about what the season is going to look like, which is fine, but.
I was thinking that he was going to have like a Bill Belichick special in Magic City somewhere. I was like, oh man, that's going to be crazy. It's going to be really crazy.
Yeah, they're going to put a Ring doorbell on Magic City.
Right.
to watch Bill leave.
Kirk Cousins' contract was up, so he didn't have anything left on it. I think maybe that was why it was so, a 5th round pick versus the Tom Brady, who was a 1st round pick. But it also could be because
I don't think it matters.
Tampering. Period.
They might have balanced it that way, but the problem is if you steal, you steal. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the punishment should still be the same, at least consistent. I agree, regardless if they're still under contract or not. The reality is there's no tampering until, and the fact that he was. I mean, everybody knew Atlanta was the place he was going, whether or not he said that or not. I mean, people were speculating that for months, right? I mean, and then it just got heated up. But Kirk Cousins said that they did these things, which they cannot do. So the bottom line is they tampered, and it should be equivalent to whatever anybody else has paid from a fine perspective as the last guy, regardless of who the player was and what they did, right? And to where their contracts lied, because it's tampering nonetheless. That's how you keep it honest, right? I mean, we already know it's not honest.
Yeah.
But now it's flagrantly not honest.
Okay, so this next topic, it's been talked about ad nauseum, but we got to talk about it too. Aaron Rodgers missing the mandatory Jets minicamp. Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? KD, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to call out one of these damn yahoos. Quote unquote sports broadcasters. Mike Florio, look, I'm tired of you, bro. Shut the hell up about Lamar Jackson not being at OTAs if you're not going to talk about Aaron Rodgers not being there either. Because at the end of the day, it's quarterbacks that are not there. Some people say, hey, it is a big deal. Some people say it's not a big deal. Some coaches are okay with it. Some coaches aren't okay with it. Some players have excused absences. Some players don't have excused absences. I just feel like, hey, okay, if my head coach is not up there, cannot sit there at a press conference and give some kind of answer to where, hey, okay, it's justifiable or it seems justifiable, I think that is an issue, period. Like, whether you come there or not, it doesn't bother me. But when it comes to the point where it's like, hey, look, I haven't talked to the guy in length of when he's going to be here, I just think that for me, that's saying, hey, you guys are not on the same page moving forward. And if we're sitting here saying, hey, look, this particular organization, I'm going to just use the Jets as an example. If we're sitting here saying, hey, this team is a top 5, maybe not to win the Super Bowl, but to get into the conference championship, then I think you need to say, hey, look, we need to be all in as possible going forward in this particular season. I just don't see that right now with him or either Hassan Reddick. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? Like, come on. Like, at some point, either you got to talk to these guys or don't say that to the media like I haven't talked to them.
Well, I will say to you, KD, that Mike Florio gives Aaron Rodgers shit every day on PF Pro Football Talk. He is one of the biggest. I would probably say he's close to one of the biggest Aaron Rodgers bashers. Okay, because and even Nick Wright. I mean, he calls Aaron Rodgers a phony because last season Aaron Rodgers sat up there. We got to cut out all this non-football bullshit, and we got to concentrate on winning. And all year long, you're getting ready. You've been off with an Achilles. You're doing this, and then OTAs, the mandatory. The OTAs are OTAs. If you don't show up at the OTAs, whatever, players come, players don't. Okay, it's voluntary, but mandatory minicamp. and you decide that you're going to book your appearance for something, and you decide to go to that appearance over your mandatory team activity, it shows you as a leader where your priority is. It's not on the football field getting your team ready for the season. It's going to my echinacea fucking mushroom, whatever conference. And so again, I just think from that standpoint, you're right. Aaron Rodgers talks about the bullshit, but he creates the bullshit that he talks about.
What storyline do we want to hear? I asked the question because here's the deal. He was at the non-mandatory stuff, right?
Yep.
Right. And what happened on the non-mandatory stuff?
He hurt his ankle.
He did. So now, it's okay. So here's my question to you. What's the storyline? He's not there, and we can talk about the appointment that he had and that he double booked, right? Or he could be there and not practice mandatorily because he's injured. And that's a bigger story. Him not being there is Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers dumb shit, and he's a mushroom-eating weird fucking dude. But Aaron Rodgers standing there on the sideline while the rest of the team is playing and Tyrod Taylor is taking all the snaps because Aaron Rodgers is hurt, that lends to so much more speculation about what the kickoff's going to look like in Sundays. So I would ask you, what storyline do we want to hear? Because the one storyline we're not hearing about is him being injured. The reality of it is he stopped practicing at the non-mandatory things because he hurt his non-injured Achilles foot, right? So what I'm telling you is, in my opinion, this is not like I don't have inside sources, but I would tell you he would have been at the mandatory minicap and answering so many more questions about his health than he is right now of just answering the questions of, oh, you're not a leader. And you know what he's saying? Look, bro, I didn't go to fucking mandatory minicap at Green Bay ever, and we were competitive every year. But right now, I'm not coming there because I don't want to answer all the questions that you're going to ask about why am I going to be ready for opening day now. And that's my personal opinion is it has nothing to do with him double booking. It's an excused absence. Saleh has to answer to his commitment. Okay. But Saleh doesn't have to answer the injury report. Not just yet. I would tell you it's coming. It's coming. So, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I certainly hope, Jeffrey, what you just said is the truth. I mean, I hope he's not hurt, but it would make me feel better as a Jet fan knowing that, okay, we're just not going to deal with all this shit and all these questions. So, okay, I got two more things, and then I want to go into buy or sell in KD's game. The Ayuk rumors. Now, I don't know if this was just bullshit that was posted the other day and I bought into, or if it was real. But did Brandon Ayuk come out and say the 49ers do not want me here?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he said that, and then he tried to double. Well, somebody in the 49ers organization leaked, we don't want him at that price that he's wanting.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing at that price is upwards of $30 million a year. And I'm just like, bro, what?
You're not going to get that anywhere.
Right.
Hell no.
I mean, there's a lot of conversations right now, which is really interesting regarding him and locations, right? I mean, obviously there was rumors right after the season about Pittsburgh because he looks like Mike Tomlin, and they said we're related and I want to be on your team. The Cleveland Browns just came into that conversation, which is actually that's probably the more interesting of them because there's actual prices associated with that, right? Like the Pittsburgh rumors is just Ayuk may land in Pittsburgh with no compensatory conversation. The conversation for Cleveland is a little bit more believable. I'm not saying he's going there, but Amari Cooper straight up for Ayuk. Both of them have Cooper wants more money, and so does Ayuk. So it's almost like a zero-sum game. It's I'll have a player that maybe I can negotiate with throughout the year to sign, as opposed to a player that's unhappy because we're not going to sign him for the money he wants. At least you can go to the other team and show off your skills and hopefully get that deal you're looking to lock down. Who knows?
Well, again, and Jeff, to your point, again, I think it comes down to Ayuk and the fact that wherever he goes, I mean, if Cleveland is having a hard time justifying paying Cooper, and they just swap Cooper for Ayuk, all they're doing is swapping two different headaches. And who has the remedy to cure the headaches?
Well, what's the headache, Dave? And so I guess what I mean is this. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's a level headache, but when you're familiar with a player, both the Browns and San Francisco are familiar with their individual player and the headache it controls.
Mm-hmm.
If the Browns are unwilling to play Cooper's frustrated with the Browns, right? The Browns can be frustrated with him because they're going to bring in someone they're frustrated with. But Ayuk isn't necessarily frustrated with the Browns because he hasn't started the negotiation process. Amari Cooper isn't frustrated with the Niners because they haven't started the negotiation process. Yes, Dave, it is a headache, but here's the reality. This has been a headache for both teams for longer than 3 weeks. I mean, Amari Cooper was a headache last year because he wanted the contract extension last year. Ayuk, we've been talking about this for a full season and a half. So, yeah, it's a headache. It's just a different headache that's going to end the same way, by the way. But at least it's a tolerable headache. I've taken some Advil and I'm moving on, but it's coming back. But it's just a matter of at least I can deal with this initial thing because the temperament isn't up here with the familiarity of the staff. I mean, I think it would be a dumbass deal either way, especially if I'm Ayuk, because you don't know what you're getting in Cleveland. I mean, I'm not saying that Cleveland's bad. I think Cleveland's going to be a good squad this year. I think. At least we know San Francisco is going to be a competitive squad, so it's not a matter of I don't know if I want to go from one to divorce one to go to
you got to remember the thing about both of those players is they're both under contract, and the thing that Ayuk has to remember is this: San Francisco's going to want compensation for Ayuk, okay, and how they base that on is what they value him at. And if any team, number one, is willing to say, okay, we want Brandon Ayuk, we'll give you a second-round pick or first-round pick, whatever it is, or second or third, but now we're going to have to give up that pick and pay this guy north of $30 million a year.
I think what you're saying plays a significant role, Dave. So if that's why I'm saying the Cleveland Brown deal seems a little bit more tangible and realistic to me because you're trading a player for a player, nothing more, nothing less. The reality of all this is it's a 1-year rental. If I'm trading San Francisco, if San Francisco's trading to Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh's going to offer me a draft choice, well, the draft choice Pittsburgh's going to offer is a 5th or a 6th because it's a 1-year rental, right? So that's why I'm saying if I can tie a player to the Ayuk trade, it only makes sense to me because it's a rental, no matter what it is. And I'm not giving up my future for it. I'm giving up a player that's going to be in the same boat with San Francisco in 12 months from now. So, I mean, it just makes a little bit more sense to me. Not to say it, look, man.
But now, again, I don't want to belabor this point too much, but again, I think a Pittsburgh trade, if they're willing to give up a higher draft pick than a 4th or a 5th or a 6th. And I only say this for this reason, because for the next 2 years, if Pittsburgh keeps Russell Wilson, they're locked into a quarterback that's getting $1 million from them financially. So the rest of the money that Wilson's getting is coming from Denver. So you have the opportunity at this point in time to maybe give up a 4th-round pick and still pay Ayuk the kind of money that he wants because you're not paying your quarterback. You don't have any quarterback on your roster that's going to be $43 million or $50 million a year for the next 4 or 5 years.
What's the franchise tag? Or because here's the deal, Dave. You say that, but people keep forgetting about this dude they have as the backup who got declined his 5th-year option, right? So if they're going to keep Justin Fields, they're going to pay Justin Fields. So they're going to pay Justin Fields something.
Well, okay. So, I mean, I think the franchise tag for quarterback is like 26.
No.
38 for a quarterback.
$38 million for Justin Fields.
All because of Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
That's the non-exclusive franchise tag.
What's up, Eric?
How's it going, guys?
What up?
Eric got a sunburn on his nose because he finally seen sun leaving Indiana. Don't be.
He heard Pittsburgh and he had to rush right in because he's like, no, you boys ain't talking this shit.
There's no shit talking. That's legitimate stuff.
Well, so my take on the whole ordeal is it's going to matter about who's going to pay his current salary this year. That's what's going to matter. So like for instance, hello, how you doing? So it's cool that we're talking about, hey, teams having the cap space and whatnot, but is it also is like, hey, okay, look, who's going to pay the salary, and then do we want a player for him, right? So based off of that, if that is the case, a team that comes to mind based off of the little graphic would be Washington. And the reason why I say Washington, because they have a young wide receiver that, the 49ers would probably say, hey, look, all right, we can get something back in return from him. Probably not to Ayuk's level, but we can have this guy for the next 4 or 5 years for the low. But then also on top of this, it's not going to kill our cap, because I think they have like 31 million or something like that. And then next year it balloons to 77 million. So if you could turn around and get him signed for a 2-year deal and let it be that and say, hey, all right, look, we're good to go. And then in 2 years, if he wants to go and test free agency somewhere else and go be with his evil twin, Mike Tomlin, he's go do that thing. But I don't see if they're going to just turn around and say, hey, look, I'm going to give him up for picks, no matter what it is. I just don't see that.
No.
All right. Peter Dinklage, you got anything to add?
So Ayuk, huh? It'll be a contender, and it'll be a contender with money. So you know my answer.
Okay.
Well, wait, real quick, hold. That's an interesting thing. I don't really. One, Ayuk has no say, and why would San Francisco trade him to a contender with money? Like I'll never understand. I mean, they'll trade him to somebody, but why would I just get rid of a headache and be like, you know what, Brandon Ayuk?
Who said he's a headache? He just wants paid what he wants paid, right? So ideally,
yeah. What? It is a headache. So why would they say, you know what, we San Francisco? Wait, I'm just asking this question.
Yeah.
San Francisco is currently right now the favorite in the NFC to go back to the Super Bowl. Why would I trade a player to a contender that potentially could stop me from going to the Super Bowl when I can trade it to, I don't know, the Steelers, who aren't a contender, for less money?
Oh, here we go.
I'm kidding about the Steelers. That was a joke, but I mean, the reality is why would I trade it to a contender?
No, so here's the deal. He's got to, with the idea in mind that he's going to sign to a long-term deal, just like typical the Pascal Siakam trade to the Indiana Pacers. They had a kind of a handshake agreement that, hey, we're going to sign you long-term, and we're going to give up all these picks to bring you in. So this is the same kind of situation here. The team he's going to be traded to, ideally, is going to have some sort of agreement that, hey, we're going to sign you to a long-term deal and have the cap space to fit you in. So the Steelers do make a ton of sense because they have $125 million cap space next year. And so right now they're at 16.
Which receiver did they pay that much money
to? Who, Pittsburgh? Or they don't paid any receiver that much.
Exactly. So why are they going to start with Ayuk? They have never paid. Look, you're the one who talks history, and now all of a sudden Ayuk is the guy they're going to be like, yeah, let's break the bank for this dude. Come on.
They broke the bank for
AB. Look, if I had the Dave Chappelle gotcha bitch, if I had
No, but no,
Eric,
like
Eric, you should have stayed on vacation, my friend.
Here's the thing. Look at, the problem with Ayuk is he doesn't hold any cards in any of this. There's no cards that Brandon Ayuk holds. So San Francisco can either make him play or he can sit out till week 8 and then come back and toll his contract or whatnot. The fact is, Brandon Ayuk has zero leverage in any of his contract demands other than I want my money, I want my money, I want my money. And so San Francisco's sitting fine. I mean, they can hold out until somebody offers them a first-round pick, and if that team happens to be the New England Patriots and they get the best offer from New England, then they take New England. They don't, it's kind of like you sit there and, yeah, Pittsburgh could make a great home. They have the money, they have the assets, they have the way to pay them. But to Jeffrey's point, Pittsburgh's never paid a wide receiver in their life. Antonio Brown, probably one of the greatest receivers in Pittsburgh Steelers history.
He got paid.
It just took a long time to pay him.
Right.
Hines Ward got paid.
What?
All right.
Wait, Eric, what did you say?
Hines Ward for his time got paid.
He got paid, but he didn't get paid. He wasn't even a top 30 paid receiver.
Oh, wow.
And really? By the way, hey, real quick, just no, Hines Ward didn't pay shit. Listen, I mean, he did for like a top 50 receiver, which is fine. But here's the deal. And then we'll use this history to help us with probably eliminating the fact that it's going to be Ayuk in Pittsburgh. They did pay AB, right? That's the one guy they decided that I'm going to pay AB. How did that work out? I think Pittsburgh learned their lesson. They're not paying anybody. Not like that. Not a receiver. And that's kind of a detriment to you guys. But anyhow.
So my only question is, so Ayuk is going to get paid more than TJ Watt.
You're right.
Alrighty. You know what? On that, we are going to
I like that. Hey, Eric needs to be on vacation more, Sean. Did you see how agreeable he becomes while he's on?
Now he's just laid back and relaxed, like, you're right.
Yeah, let me not say
nothing.
Nothing
A couple beers, he loses right up. He starts thinking clear.
He's over there. Touche.
All right, the last
vacation Eric's fun.
All right, so the last one I want to get to before we're going to then jump into Katie's game, and then we'll end with buy or sell. Trevor Lawrence contract.
Now, that's the biggest crock of crap I've ever seen.
Okay, now I was watching the Rich Eisen show the other day, and it wasn't the guy actually who was hosting because it wasn't Rich. He had someone filling in, but it was. I feel terrible for saying this. It was a black guy in the corner. But he said, he goes, it seems like a bad deal right now. But in 2 or 3 years, it's actually going to be cheap because now, quarterbacks, their salaries are exploding. So although it looks like a terrible deal now, they got them locked in for 5 years, at $200 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's actually, in the short term, it's terrible, but in the long term, it's actually not that bad.
He hasn't.
Any thoughts?
He hasn't shown that he's a franchise quarterback. I mean, that's the problem. He hasn't shown.
Stats equal his.
Nope. We can't go there. We just talked about it with one of Eric's boys, in Justin Fields. He's slated to get almost $40 million.
Well, but that's
the market.
No, I understand the market.
The issue with this is they've done it to themselves. You consistently told quarterbacks, hey, regardless of production, you're going to keep driving up your market. No other position. You got guys that run for 2,000 yards, and they're asked to take a pay cut. They're asked to take $11 million, right? But as a quarterback, you got guys that have an eclipse of 4,000-yard season, but because of what the market says, hey, you're going to get that $40 million or close to it, right? And we know all five of us, all six of us, all five of us on here know darn well, hey, bro, you played 11 games in 7 years, and you should get $8 million. But because, quote unquote, you started a year, right? People are saying, hey, this is what your market is. And again, I'm not going to sit and say he's worth it or he's not worth it, but that is what the market is dictating right now. Because if you did that, you essentially would have to go get new quarterbacks every year in the draft.
Hey, look, real quick. Let me just say this. I'm not arguing Katie's point because the market has been established. But I blame the NFL as a whole. But this is still a horrible deal. What did Baker Mayfield get? He signed a new contract with Tampa.
It's 28, I think. Hold on, let me double check.
And just so you know, Tampa, first and foremost, while Katie's looking that up, I don't think Baker Mayfield's amazing. I think he's been okay, and I'm frustrated for him, but because I want him to be great. But he's much better than Trevor Lawrence statistically.
So he's on the $30 million a year right now.
How much?
$30 million for this
$30 million, and that's what Lawrence should have been looked at. Because I'd say I don't necessarily care too much that the other quarterbacks that he surpassed, the Dak Prescotts, the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, I don't care about those people being mad because they're getting paid a lot of money. You know who I'm frustrated for? Gardner Minshew. Because Gardner Minshew is a slot. I mean, he's a backup quarterback everywhere he goes. He doesn't get any hype. But here's the deal. Statistically speaking, he's crushed Trevor Lawrence, period, with far less talent everywhere he's been. And the thing is like, golly, man, if I'm Gardner Minshew, I'm frustrated. Trevor Lawrence hasn't done shit, like at all. So here's the deal. Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones are equally horrible contracts, and those are the basis of everything else. So here's my thing, where Dak Prescott loses in the playoffs, but his coach sucks in the playoffs, and so is his defense. The whole team sucks in the playoffs, not just Dak Prescott, but there's nobody that has better statistics than Dak Prescott at all. Like, he is better statistically regular season than Patrick Mahomes is. The difference is coaching and everything else about performance in the playoffs kind of matters, and it doesn't. So I say that because now they're thinking about Dak Prescott isn't really a franchise quarterback. The shit he's not. You're stupid. And the fact that we're having a conversation about Trevor Lawrence being paid more, and I don't care how friendly it is down the road, now the road, it's foolish, because Trevor Lawrence should be sitting there either A, with a Baker Mayfield type deal, or sitting here in another season as the Jacksonville Jaguars try to justify paying this dude that much money, because he hasn't done enough for him to get paid that much money.
What's interesting,
and that's my point, Jeff.
I got it. Eric, what'd you say?
What's interesting is how prophetic it was last season when we were talking about Daniel Jones. If you actually take their numbers and you lay them down next to each other, they're almost equal. They're identical.
Right, sure.
And so the going market for really average to below average quarterback play is incredible nowadays.
Below average.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I got a question for you, Eric, and everybody. So,
Eric and everybody.
When Mahomes and Josh Allen sign their contracts, does this make those two franchises look absolutely genius for what they did? Because here's the deal. If you have to take a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen and get their salaries equal to or just above a Trevor Lawrence $55 million contract, and Joe Burrow, they're tied 1-1 or whatever, you only have to actually add about $16.5 million to your existing salary cap to get those quarterbacks above the number one threshold, as opposed to adding 30, 40, 45 million to get that quarterback who was making 20 million to go to 55. Those teams are genius for doing what they did when they did that.
So to answer this question, if there was a contract impasse with either one of those quarterbacks, with the rate that these guys just got paid, they would not be taking these type deals. They would be taking a lot more money, because they look and say, they're paying this guy who sucks $200 million. You're going to pay me, who doesn't suck, a lot more. And so ideally that's kind of, right now it looks genius, but down the road, I think you're going to see a continued inflated market. And the next quarterback that's going to get paid is going to be Dak, because Jeff's right. Dak is a franchise quarterback. And if the Cowboys say, he's not good, somebody will pay him a lot of money.
Here's the deal. Mark my words when I say this. Dak Prescott is not going to be in Dallas. He's going to get paid. And I would look at him in the Raiders with next year, right? But at the end of the day, here Trey Lance about to get a lot of time, because he better be the guy. I think Dallas is I mean, I think it's ludicrous. I mean, listen, I've liked Dak Prescott since Mississippi State days. I was actually going to Mississippi State at the same time he was, and I was like, man, I didn't watch this dude, but now I'm going to watch him. But what I'll tell you is, I think he's fine. Again, in the games in which, like the playoff game, yeah, he threw 3 interceptions. They sucked, but they were getting throttled from the other side of the ball too, right? So, I mean, I know Eric is the guy. The quarterback it's never important until it's the playoffs, and then they're weighty moments. But at the end of the day, the teams themselves are imploding. It's not just bad play by Dak Prescott. Micah Parsons was a ghost. I mean, did the dude even exist, right? Anyhow, all that stuff is just foolish to me.
You're muted, Sean.
Okay, our black guy in the corner, Katie, go ahead and
our black guy in the corner. Oh man,
you're gonna get canceled, bro.
I didn't say the black guy in the corner. That wasn't my fault.
All right, let me pull these slides up. You did want me to go to the game, right?
Yeah, unless you had anything to say about Trevor Lawrence, because you never get to speak.
Nah, I really don't.
He was the first one to speak, man. He said stuff.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to say about him. I understand the whole thing behind it is the market. It is what it is. But yeah, the one thing I was going to say is about Dak going to the Raiders. That's exactly what I was thinking too, Jeff. Because again, them missing on a quarterback or who they wanted in this draft, I just don't see them saying, "Hey, long term, either one of those quarterbacks that's there saying, hey, you guys are going to be the answer." Especially with them building their defense the way they built it. So I think if he becomes available, it gets really, really interesting to say, hey, look for that deal. If he does go there, it's going to be low coming in. And then in 2026 is when they get to their $100 million. And then they'll basically have in those last 2 years, they'll get the big bulk of his contract. So
only way it doesn't change is if Gardner Minshew doesn't get screwed after taking them to like a playoff game, right? I mean, Gardner Minshew. I mean, it's funny to me that it's like a whole cult thing. I mean, Gardner Minshew's like a good quarterback, right? But he's not flashy. He's not highly rated and all that other stuff. But the dude, from a statistical perspective, keeps them in games. He doesn't do dumb shit.
And one last name in this equation, Tua's got to get paid. And I mean, again, it's going to be one of those. Miami's either going to rise up and pay the dude the $55 million that Trevor Lawrence got, or they're going to be looking for a quarterback. And so if Miami's building to win, I mean, it's unfortunate, Eric, but that's what's going to end up having to happen. I mean, the guy's led the league in yards.
Yeah, I would. He's got as many concussions as Rocky Balboa. I wouldn't pay him.
I'm just saying. I mean, I would take Tua over Trevor Lawrence right now because I think Trevor Lawrence has got awful. Right. Trevor Lawrence got $55 million for what he did in Clemson, not for what he did in the NFL.
All right, so let's wrap it up there.
All
KD, let's go to your game.
All right. Can you pull my slides up?
I'll do that for you.
All right. So as you guys know, we do this thing. We've been doing it for the last two shows that we was on, and basically it's a player, and it'll have a time frame down in the bottom. It'll have a team logo or whatnot, and you guys do your best. Try not to blurt it out. We'll start an order, and then we'll go through it and give everybody a stab at it, and then we'll go from there. All right, so first, who went first last time? Was it Jeff?
It was me because I won and Jeffrey was crying.
No, because David acted like that was the hardest thing ever, and it was simple, and I was trying to say.
No, because Eric didn't know Marshawn Lynch.
All right, so Jeff, you go first this time then. All right.
96. Is there any more clues besides?
No. Hey, this is bro. I ain't got there yet. Hold on. All right.
Oh, cool. So much better because I was like, I don't know who this could be.
No team. He played for 12 years.
This is a different slide because the last slide the dude was the 1996.
Yes, I said that the first one.
The first slide was the dummy slide.
It's just a dummy. It's not a real guy.
Oh, I missed.
He shouldn't get to go first. He don't even understand the damn game.
Yeah, I did not understand the game.
Oh, I know.
At all.
Put your hand down.
All right, I'll give you about 2 minutes.
No, you can give me less than that. I'll get it wrong before then. I'm trying to think. Is there any clues here, or this the clues?
You got 5 damn clues on the screen.
Yeah, but those are just teams. I was gonna.
This is simple.
It is
simple.
Yeah.
This is an easy one.
Oh God, Jeff, you're gonna smack yourself in the head.
I am.
All right, so you got 2 minutes. Your 2 minutes about to be over.
It's a defensive player.
Correct.
Yeah. I can't remember it, but I think it's the Dynamican Sue.
Yay! Right. Congratulations.
I knew who it was.
You wiggled that out of your ass some kind of way. All right, Sean, you're up next.
Oh man, you always give me the tough ones.
Hip hop.
Hey, I gave you your team this time, Sean.
It's nice.
Should be a dead giveaway.
I know this one.
Son of a bitch.
I think.
All right, about a minute left, Sean.
I don't know.
All right,
I don't know. Go to someone else.
Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna pass. I don't know.
Holy shit! All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna say it.
No, shut up. It's my turn, douche.
It's Walter White's turn.
I'm gonna say
You're on mute. You're on mute. So
I muted you, David.
That's awesome.
I'm
That's
saying
the best thing ever.
I'm saying I think it's what is his name? Brad Smith, the punt returner, kick returner.
No, dipshit. It's
Wow.
Frank Gore, you sorry fuck.
So
What?
So
Frank
Jeff
Gore.
did a point. Jeff.
Oh my
did a
gosh.
point.
Gosh.
Who is it?
Frank Gore, dude.
Shit.
Oh my God.
Because Brad Smith, the
Well, I
punter.
don't know. I thought he was going to throw an obscure one in there for Christ's sake. I didn't know.
Well, that's obscure to you that the
So Jeff got two. Jeff got two. So now we lead off. We lead off with
He muted me. I said Frank Gore first. He muted me during the Frank Gore segment.
he said Frank Gore, but did you come back with Brad Smith?
Frank Gore was too obvious. Let me go to the obscure kicker.
Well, hey, I would play the game that way.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, I don't know who Brad Smith is, so he very well could have played for all those teams. But I was like, okay, that's cool.
Well, I know he played for Miami, the Jets, and Buffalo, so that I know.
Good job.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
All right, it's on you, E.
Oh. Give me Brad Johnson.
Good job.
Very nice.
You know, I got to pause it until you move to the next one real quick. Do you know I've listened to more people talk about how great of a quarterback Brad Johnson was over the last like 48 to 56 hours? And I got to tell you, I wish I could get on the television or the radio with all of these people and just tell them because they think he's a swell guy. The dude, he's got like a 65% win percentage or something. And he's like, he's a great quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's an all right quarterback because somebody was talking about he's like Trent Dilfer. And then someone was like, no, Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl with arguably the best defense ever assembled. And I was like, hey, Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl with arguably a top 5 defense ever assembled in the Bucs defense. Are you kidding me? The defense scored more points than Brad Johnson. Man, get your ass. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just want to.
Well, no. Hey, so you can, hey Jeff. So take a screenshot of this, right? And you tell them, hey, how many times has he had 5 years in one spot?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's an average quarterback.
Hey, wait, though. Those Viking teams, he carried some of those. They were not very good teams. And
No way. Stop.
I'm just saying.
No way.
All right.
Did you say he carried a Viking team?
Yeah, they were
I want to see the Vikings record from 94 to 98. He might have carried their laundry to the what you call it after the game, but I don't think he carried the team.
Wow.
All right, let's go. Next one.
Next slide.
All right, back to you, Dave.
Oh wait, it's not. It's the.
No, it's my turn first. I go first, so shut up. 6.
Yeah, he went first last time. It just went past.
No, I got that. I just wanted to eliminate him from being in the conversation.
Oh, this is great.
Well, I knew 2 out of 5, so I'm good.
All right, you got about a minute left.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh man, I do not know this answer.
All right, we're gonna move
Go ahead,
on.
pass.
We're gonna pass to Jeff. What you got, Jeff?
Player who played for the Chargers, Jets, twice, Colts, and Cardinals. Player who played for the Chargers, Jets twice. Who played?
Hey man,
Damian Thomason wasn't.
Don't be trying to divorce Google.
Huh?
Don't be trying to divorce Google.
Oh, I'm not. I mean, no, I'm not. I'm really trying to say.
All right,
But Thomason didn't play that late, and he didn't play for the Cardinals. I don't think. I don't know who that is.
All right,
hey,
Sean.
yeah, I'm a pass.
What you got?
I'm going to say Cromartie.
Nice.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. Good job,
right.
Sean. That makes sense.
No, you see, Sean has his Google voice on, and he's taking Jeffrey's voice and answering, so it's not like Sean's talking.
I didn't Google voice it. I thought it was. I looked at those things, and I know LT played. I know he didn't play for those two though. Anyway.
All right. So this is to Sean, right? Oh no, who went first?
Me.
Jeff.
Yep, yeah. So to you, Sean.
I know this.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
I don't know if I know it.
A minute left.
Holy crap.
Holy crap.
I have no idea. Next person.
To go to me.
All right, E, it's on you, E.
Hey, I hated this guy. This guy was a jerk. This is TJ Hushmanzada.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
TJ, who's your mama?
Nice. All right, so hey, that's the show. Name the player this week. So we're gonna have 5 new ones next week.
All right.
Hey, Katie, just call me and I'll give you the 5.
No,
Yep, we tied. I didn't lose. I had 2.
Now you should go for the obscure. That way, like, I can guess them.
Hey, just so you know, you tied, Eric, but that's because KD skipped me this time. It was supposed to go to me after Sean. I mean, before it went to you, but it's okay.
I thought you just went first on the second one.
No, actually, David went.
No, David went. I went second. That's okay, but I knew that was because I didn't know who the hell Cromartie was, but I knew it was TJ Hushmanzada. So either way, I was right. I knew who it was. I agreed with you, Eric. So I'll let you have 2. I had 2 as well, but really I had 3, and you really had 1.
This is not going to be who's that player. This is going to be let's listen to Jeffrey's whiny bitch ass every week he loses.
I didn't lose. I'm nuts.
That's really long to make a title for, but we can work on it, and I will work on it. But we're about to run into buy or sell. Before that, Applebee's has 7 half-price appetizers for late night. Yeah, if you're drunk and looking for a cougar, hit Applebee's
For the best boneless wings in town.
You need me to bring that up?
Or if you have a business meeting, get some boneless wings because, yes, they are half price at late night. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll. No, you didn't roll the title.
Oh, I forgot. Wait a minute.
Man.
Wait.
Amateurs.
Let me remove. I know I'm an amateur. I'm sorry. I got to find it. Where is it? Oh, I got to download it again, right?
You should only have to download. If you have it download, we're not going to wait for you to download it. Go to the buy or sell.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
It should be in your stock footage then.
Yeah, it should be saved already. We used it last week or last time we was on.
Where would it be, though?
The one that says buy or sell intro?
Yeah, and it's the problem in your brand.
Doesn't say buy or sell.
Did Eric just do a damn hair flick?
I have hair.
Did you just do a hair flick?
I didn't do a hair flick.
Let me see what this one is.
Worst case scenario, you'll see James.
That ain't it. It's not
All
there.
right,
Anyway, buy or sell.
okay,
I'll buy that for $1.
Okay, so this is for me. Are you buy or selling? Christian McCaffrey getting the cover jinxes the 49ers of 2024 for the Madden cover. Is that a jinx or is it not? David?
No, because Christian McCaffrey usually gets hurt once a year anyway, so I don't think it's a jinx. I think it's just called his yearly injury.
All right, so you're selling it.
I'm selling
Jeffrey, are you buying or selling that the cover of Madden is going to jinx CMC?
No, I don't think it's – no, I sell.
I'm buying it. Katie?
I'm going to sell, considering the fact that, hey, even with the injuries, he's still going to be doing what he needs to do. I think they're not going to put a lot on his plate. So I'm going to sell.
All right. Eric?
I think the opposite, that Ayuk's getting traded, so he will have more, and he has a long injury history with a bunch of soft tissue injuries that are common. So I think he misses 8 games. I'm buying.
Okay. Next slide.
Alrighty, slide number 2.
Okay, so Jeffrey, Colin Cowherd, who I despise as much as Mike Florio, said the Houston Texans will miss the playoffs in 2024. Are you buying or selling it?
It's going to be tough to do what they did last year. Even though they got better, it's still tough because they actually have game film and a game plan to plan it. I'll tell you, the only part that makes this easy to sell is because I look at the division and I look at Indy, Jacksonville, and I don't even know who the other team is because Tennessee. And I don't know if any of them are better. What I will say is that if they do not win the division, they're not making the playoffs because I think that the AFC North is pretty stout with all 3 teams that aren't the Steelers, and all 4 teams in AFC North are. I mean, this would be tough to buy, but I'm not so opposed to it. I'll sell it now, but again, they have to win the division to make the playoffs. I mean, and it should be done. But we'll see. And I know we're just supposed to say buy or sell, and I apologize to actually go through some diatribe, but I was actually just in my mind debating if this was buy or sell.
You can banter.
Yeah. I'm going to sell this, but I totally agree with Jeff because I could totally see it happening. But at this particular moment in time, I don't see anyone in that division that's gonna come out on top. Katie?
You guys said it all, so I'm selling as well. So,
Eric?
So can you imagine, the whole Stephon Diggs drama if they don't make the playoffs? As much drama as he gave up in Buffalo, if he goes to Houston, he gets what he wants and he misses the playoffs. That'll be a hell of a storyline. But I think the division, I don't trust Anthony Richardson. I think Trevor Lawrence is Mac Jones. And I think Tennessee is coming, but they're not ready yet. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this. I think Houston makes the playoffs by default.
All right. David?
I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to agree with Colin. And I only say this, and I just say this because the amount of people and the amount of talent and the amount of playmakers they've brought into Houston, there's only one football that can go around. I think simplicity wins more games than not. And I think with a second-year quarterback and having a guy like Stephon Diggs who anywhere he's gone has wanted the ball a lot, and you got 5 other mouths on that team to feed, I think if he's the cancer that Eric says he is, and if he's the guy in the locker room that people say he is, from Minnesota to Buffalo to whatnot, I think a guy like that can hurt a young quarterback's development by demanding too much. And I just think it might be hard for them, like if they don't win the division, for them to make the playoffs. So I'm going to say simplicity sells in this division, and I'll buy it.
All righty. So another one from Colin. He says the Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East in 2024. I am selling that shit. No way. KD?
I mean, how are you planning on doing it with virtually no receivers, and then you got a injury-prone Austin Eckler? I mean, unless your defense is going to turn back hands at times, some of that nature. I don't see it. So I'm definitely selling that.
Eric.
So what's funny to me is I think KD shared something about Colin hating on the Steelers and thought he was a second coming of a prophet, and now we're all making fun of him. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and buy this because look, I think Philadelphia is going to implode. I think Dallas is imploding in front of our eyes, and so I don't think anybody in the division is that good. And James Daniels has the potential to be a game-changing quarterback with mobility. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this.
I would say I don't care. The only way the Washington Commanders win this division is if the two planes that Philadelphia and Dallas were flying collided in mid-air and imploded. That's the only way Washington would come close to winning this division. That's a definitely selling proposition there. So I sell that.
For me, I'd like to buy it, but I don't think Dan Quinn in his first year is going to turn around a defense that lost Sweat and Chase Young last year. I mean, they have to replace some of that stuff, and and I think it's going to take Dan Quinn a little bit of time to get his defense on point. Dan Quinn's a great defensive-minded coach. Ron Rivera was too, except for Ron Rivera, which usually landed in the top 8 defenses for his whole career average. He finished 32nd last year, so the team stopped playing for him. I think Jalen Daniels is an excellent quarterback, and I think he's going to do great. I love McLaurin, and I think Dotson's a good receiver. I like Austin Eckler, but who knows if he can stay healthy. They got the other kid too that I don't mind and Washington from a running back perspective, but I just don't see them beating out Philly. I think that they could potentially take over the Cowboys. I think that they could finish in second. I don't see the Giants doing anything yet, but we'll see. But I don't see them beating Philly, not because I think Philly's great, but I just think even the baseline talent on Philly is better than just baseline talent. I know the coaching is a little awkward, but I'm not a huge fan of their coach. But I think it's going to take Dan Quinn a little bit of time to build. I mean, I would say 3 years from now we could have this conversation again, and I wouldn't be so far off. But I don't think right now. I'm going to sell this.
All righty. All right. So, KD, you are up for this next buy or sell. Danny Dimes gets benched for Drew Lock in 2024.
No. I'm definitely selling this. The Giants organization has came out and said they're 100% behind Danny Dimes. They've also talked about
it's not at the beginning. At some point in the season, Danny Dimes gets benched for Drew Lock. Go ahead.
You can't. Okay, if you did that, you're basically contradicting what you said. Because if I remember correctly, they asked him something about him being a top 10 quarterback, and he said, "I'll take what I got right now." So that's basically telling me, hey, out of the top 10 quarterbacks, however you want to rank it, he's saying he'll roll with Danny Dimes. So if you're that bought in with your guy, I mean, nothing he could do to get benched.
All right, Eric.
So Sean can attest to this. How often does the New York Brass, now we're talking the Giants, so technically New Jersey, but how often does the New York Brass bend to the will of the fan base and the media pressure? And so here's the deal. If Danny Dimes comes out and they suck, Drew Lock will play by default because they'll the mounting pressure. So they can say one thing now, but I trust that as much as I trust the New York media.
I sell this because the fact of the matter is when you took Malik Neighbors at 6 and you still had 3 quarterbacks on the board that you could have replaced Danny Dimes with and you didn't, you said that Danny Dimes is my quarterback in 2024. So as far as I'm concerned, it's Danny Dimes or bust. The only way he gets replaced is if he's injured. The only way Drew Lock sees the field is if he's injured.
All right, Jeffrey.
Yeah, so I don't quite put any words to coaches saying in June who our quarterback is. I mean, I remember Byron Leftwich was named the starting quarterback, and Jacksonville Byron Leftwich week 2. He got traded to the Steelers to be their backup. Things happen, right? I mean, I remember that. I mean, and I remember the coach saying it. it's June. They're going to say something. I mean, right now in Pittsburgh, they haven't said that Russell Wilson's our guy and Justin Fields going to back up. It's what they're talking about from the time they signed him. We'll see what happens. And this is not a bust on Pittsburgh, by the way, Eric. I'm just saying what coaches say right now is what coaches say. I don't see Danny Dimes being benched at all because he's getting paid as much as Trevor Lawrence. So I don't see Danny Dimes being benched. What I see is the same scenario of a Byron Leftwich, is if Danny Dimes is not starting and he's not hurt, it's because he's no longer on the Giants team. Drew Lock is not coming in to start. They're not going to sit the $40 million a year quarterback, regardless of what he does, unless they're moving. So I'm selling that.
All right. I am buying this wholeheartedly. Giants are going to suck. They don't have a team. They don't have any kind of skill position set. Waller just retired. They're screwed. It's not going to be Danny Dimes' fault. Eric is 100% correct because the media is going to go crazy. They're going to have to try to do something, but benching Danny Dimes for Drew Lock is not what the problem was. But they have to do something because otherwise they're going to get eaten alive by the fans. So I am buying this wholeheartedly. All right, Eric, last one to you, and then we're going to wind this show up. By the way, this last one was from Giants 366. But this is from me. Hard Knocks jinxes the whole AFC North because they're not focusing on one team. They're going to all of them. And we've seen what happens. Are you buying this or are you selling this that they're going to jinx the whole AFC North?
So the New York Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. So if we're talking jinxes stops them from being the title team, I think it's a distraction, and I think it becomes a distraction down the stretch. And thinking about it, when I announced it, I wasn't that excited to hear that each team is going to have to deal with the media and have to have that extra element in the locker room. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and I think it's a bad omen for KD and I and the rest of the AFC North.
I sell this because I don't think there is any team in the AFC North that carries drama into the season. I don't think any one of these teams has any internal strife or turmoil, with the exception of maybe Amari Cooper not being at mandatory minicamp. I don't think there's the whole, like, usually it's your last year. You choose from the last place teams or the most dysfunctional teams from the year before that get hard knocks. And now you're talking about a division that's all supposed to be competitive, who pretty much revamped their teams and has what they would call their ducks in a row. So I'm looking at this from a division of strength. So I don't think Hard Knocks really puts any people under the spotlight because I don't really see a lot of turmoil in that division. So I'm going to sell that.
Jeff?
Yeah, I disagree with. I think in the AFC North there is a team with a player that will be very upset that they chose to agree to the Hard Knocks, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers and George Pickens. The problem with it is that George Pickens is a known hothead from college to like last season in the last game of the season. It's not like he matured over the summer. The bottom line is when he starts not getting the ball, you're going to see it from him, not anybody else in the whole AFC North. So you're going to see that strife and Mike Tomlin's inability to control the wide receiving core. This is going to be the actual proof in the pudding of what we've said for 20 years of Mike Tomlin coaching, that he doesn't control the receivers ever. But that I don't believe it jinxes anybody. And I don't necessarily agree with the Jets thing because it's the Jets and we always talk about history, right? But all that being said, the AFC North is the best division in football from top to bottom, period, right? And they are. I mean, every team finished over 500 last year, and if Joe Burrow's not hurt, the Steelers finished fourth place last year, which would have been the first time since 1973 or whatever Eric said. This year they're going to come back and do it again. I mean, this is going to be another plus 500 season for the AFC North. It'll be competitive, and Hard Knocks will not have a single play in it. But we will get to see George Pickens lose his mind, and we will watch that on Hard Knocks. And I can get, like, if you want to buy or sell that shit, I'm buying that 100% of my income on it. I'm putting it down, and I'll quadruple my earnings, because the bottom line is it's inevitable that George Pickens is going to lose his mind when he catches his 45th pass from behind the line of scrimmage for 17 yards total, and he's struggling to get a first down.
Sean, I am way too drunk to rebuttal, so we'll just keep going.
See, man,
But there's no rebut here. I mean, you see it every game.
This is how I deal with you guys. My asshats. I love you all, but you're my asshats.
So anyway, I am buying this, and I try not to believe in superstition, but if you look at history, it's just like every time your team's down by 2 points, there's 2 seconds on the clock. They're going for a 48-yard field goal. He hasn't missed from 40 to 50 in 2 years. You just screwed him.
You turn the page or turn the TV off. You're about to watch a no good kick. You're right. Frustrating.
It's just Hard Knocks has proven. Arizona Cardinals went on a couple of years ago. They were supposed to be like amazing and win the division and everything, and they ended up crap. It's something about it that just I gotta buy it, and obviously someone's going to win the AFC North, and they're going to get in the playoffs. But holy shit, can you imagine? Like, if all of a sudden Lamar gets hurt and Wilson gets hurt, and everyone all of a sudden starts going down, and you got divisions there where they're 7-10, and they're the best in the division. I can see that happening just because it happens, just like the Madden cover. Josh Allen was on it last year.
There's nothing wrong with Josh Allen last year.
Except, oh well.
I don't know, 18 interceptions and
50 touchdowns. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I know, I get it.
66 and whatever years.
So I'm buying it. I'm not a voodoo guy, but KD do the voodoo that you do so well.
I'm selling this. We said the whole division.
The whole division, yes.
I'm selling this. Listen, okay. Our franchises, I know two franchises. The Steelers and the Ravens have been the highlight to off-season drama and distractions before coming into the season. So I know for a fact they can handle, some distractions, whether it be legal distractions or whatever it may be, to the point they'll probably even make some jokes out of it about having them there. I don't know how the other two franchises are going to respond to this, a constant camera crew recording everything that they're doing, their mishaps and whatnot. And then I know for a fact once a couple of stories get out and say, hey, certain teams or certain people are struggling and so forth, I just don't know how that will work. I don't think the whole division. So for that particular reason, I'm going to sell it. But if you would have told me it was 2 teams, I would definitely buy it.
Yeah, but KD, Watson is very familiar with cameras being around him. And he knows all about it. In the courtroom, out of the courtroom, on the massage table, in the car, with a towel.
But that may trigger him, though. He may be like,
Dude, you just got to rub all that shit out and continue.
I don't know.
But anyway, I want to apologize to our viewers for misspelling jinxes, and I had in my saying I buy it because I'm the one who said it. So I'm an idiot. Apologize to you all. But anyway, unless you guys have anything else, I'll give someone the last word.
I do, Sean. I do. I'm sorry. I have to go back in time for a minute to an earlier comment made by Eric about the stellar performance of one Brad Johnson in his playing times carrying Minnesota. I'm just going to throw this out there. He played for 7 years total in Minnesota with a record of 28-18. Which is not a bad record from a winning percentage perspective. But I just want to tell you this. When you talk about carrying the Vikings, in his time with the Vikings, his first 2 seasons, he didn't play a snap. His third season, he was 5-3. The second season, he was 8-5. His third season, he was 2-0. So that's his 3 seasons that he carried the Vikings in early. In his latter years, he was 7-2 in his one season and 6-8 in his other. So his carrying of any fucking team is ridiculous. Play But
He
just,
figured out that team.
his best season was in Washington at 10-6 with 4,000 yards passing. I'll give him
Rebuttal.
4,000.
Rebuttal.
And out of respect for the alcohol-laden man, because I can relate. Eric, last word, and we're off.
Okay, so it's June and it's fun to talk a lot. Okay, because we're gonna hear it a lot and we're gonna see a lot. Brad Johnson got his team to, I believe, the divisional, if not the conference championship game, which he played good football. And when KD and I discussed the 2000 Ravens defense, it was a different era of football where they ran more and didn't throw as much, which excuses all the bad quarterbacks the 2000 Ravens played the entire way. So since I get the last word here tonight, all I will say is Josh Allen has led the league in interceptions every year, and I'll enjoy watching that again. The Ravens, hopefully Lamar is focused this year, but if he's not, it'll be fun. And George Pickens will be fun on HBO Hard Knocks because Tomlin's a good coach and people like to play for him. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.
You should drink more because you're much more enjoyable to listen to, even though everything you just said was full of shit. I like how you delivered. The delivery was all there.
Wait, I was supposed to have last word.
You did, but I was commenting on your last word. I'm not debunking it. I'm just really saying I like how you stated your last word. I was letting you know that I enjoyed the delivery.
I enjoy you too, Jeffrey.
Hey,
Here at From the Couch,
Yeah.
Sports Talk Radio. Have a good night. We'll see you all next week. Tune in.
Later.
Eric, enjoy the rest of your trip, bro.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I want to.